down where I am, the sun is shining so far in the morning. I record these monologues in the morning, and sometimes I open up the curtain and it's just thick cloud. As we know, the aeroplanes have been out, they've been spraying, they've been causing havoc everywhere and all of this. And other days you open up the curtains and the sun is shining and it's a beautiful day, and then as the day creeps on, the clouds come back. And yesterday, I have to say, we had pretty much a very good day. That was a Sunday, and I was able to actually sit out on my step, enjoy puffing my pipe, reading a book, listening to a podcast, whatever, and have the sunshine. I was able to walk down to the seafront and actually feel the heat of the sun. And I went out this morning, I was saying goodbye to the lovely Julia, and the heat from the sun that was coming through the clouds, even early in the morning at, say, I don't know, 7:30, 8 o'clock, I could feel that warmth. And then when they cloud over, oh my goodness, you can see and feel the difference. Somebody said to me, or I heard somewhere, that the daffodils were already out. Isn't that amazing? That even though they're trying to cover up the sky and stop the sun from coming out, nature is still forcing its way through, which is fantastic. And that is another reason why people like me and many others want to get onto the land, save the land before it's taken over by the big corporate takeover, in which they basically fence it all up and stop the likes of you and me getting on there and herd us into these 15-minute cities. And we want to get on the land, have a little bit of space and grow and get back with nature as what we were intended to do. It seems to me that is what our purpose was, is to be at nature, to be creative, to be part of this earth, and not be stuck in towns and cities under artificial lights and all of that. And I've spoken about that for donkeys. Now, of course, there's a lot of attack going on the nature, on the land, and on farmers to stop them from growing. We know that there's likely to be food shortages, for instance. And so there is an army of people, potential people, who've yet to realise that actually they want to get their hands in the soil, that they want to rear animals, that they want to enjoy the landscape and not be surrounded by tarmac and glass and steel. And Julia and I are one of those. Julia and I are very much looking, we haven't quite found yet, we've looked at various different potentials, but so much is out of our league in terms of cost of land, and then moving back onto the land. And it struck me, of course, farmers are very much under attack, what with the government doing their 50% inheritance tax and all of this nonsense. If they stay in the jurisdiction, of course, of persons, which most people do feel that they are in that jurisdiction and don't fully understand and haven't yet come to understand that there are two jurisdictions: the real jurisdiction of life on Earth, and then the jurisdiction of this carbon copy that has been placed over it, which is legislation. And people believe that they are the persons. And that's how they control us all, by making out that we're persons. But if we reject that and go back to the real world, or the real Earth, and tread on this real Earth and be part of this wonderful place, then we're out of their jurisdiction, and actually they can't do anything about it, as much as they might like to with their big sticks. Anyway, the point is that many of us do want to get back on the land, and I was saying the farmers have been under attack a hell of a lot. Now, some farmers may want to give up, they may want to sell off their land, they may be tempted to take the solar panels and all these big batteries and put wind farms on in order to keep it going. But it did strike me, and I'm sure I've made a video about this in the past, but there must be plenty of farmers who, rather than doing that, want to realise a little bit of cash just to keep them going, who might be prepared to sell off a little bit of their land, a little bit, say 5 acres over here, or 10 acres over there, or just an acre, and allow people like Julia and myself and an army of other people up and down the land to buy a little section of the farm and to carry it on as a farm, as a little farmstead or a homestead, or you know, to grow and rear animals. There are plenty of people who really want to do this, and the farmers have the land, And I think if you've got the mentality, as most farmers used to have, that they are the custodians of the land, that they're there to keep that land for future generations and not permit people to build houses all over it, not permit people to put industrial nonsense like solar panels and wind farms and big exploding batteries all over it and digging cables up and wrecking the rural countryside. If the farmers understand that this land, this wonderful earth, is not really theirs to just ruin, that they are the custodians. Perhaps there are farmers out there who will say, do you know what, I need the money, I'll sell off 5 acres, that Vobesy needs some, here's a bit, it's tucked out the way, nobody will know is there, and he can get on and do a bit of farming, put a little cabin that's off the ground, not doing any damage, and all of that. Yet deal with the planning people and all of that in due course. But the main thing is, we need to be growing, and we need an army of farmers. My friend Mark Byford, the bowler hat farmer, is about to go on tour and talk to as many people to reiterate this message that we need to be growing and we need to be buying directly from farmers, all different sizes of farmers. Now, some farmers may be stuck in contracts, they may have to pay huge bills such as for the rental or the purchase of their big tractors and combine harvesters and all of those sort of things, or they may be contracted to grow a certain type of crop. But they may have at the side somewhere, perhaps some woodland, or perhaps, you know, bits that don't grow particularly well for the type of thing that they do. They may have a bit of land and they may want to sort of get out of those contracts and try and raise the money to get out of those by selling it off to people like me, Julia, and all the others who really are desperate. Young people, particularly, who want to make a start in farming, rearing animals, and getting back to a holistic lifestyle outdoors in nature. And if there are any of those who happen to be watching, then do get in touch, because there's going to be a whole army of people who want to be able to do this. We need more farmers so we have more food. Let's not reduce the number of farmers. They have the power, and if only they realise they have the power, and if they can't do it, other people would love to get onto the land and start farming, even if it's in a small way, and sell locally. Small local farmers will be where we need to go, not big and corporatized. So if you know anybody who's in that position, who's able to maybe sell off a little bit of land or rent a bit of land to somebody so that we can get people on. Imagine the town where you are, surrounded now in the fields with lots of different farmers supplying you food, fresh, local food, grown all locally. Wouldn't that be amazing, rather than having to go to the supermarkets that have got nutrient-free, vitamin-deficient food? It would be fantastic, fantastic and healthy. I know, as I often make videos, we have a problem up there in the skies with the poisons they're putting into, but if we can get greenhouses up, if we can get in there early, we can get our positive vibes even, then there's a lot we can do. If we have more farmers, we'll have more food, and we can ride out this storm. And we need people like Julia, like myself, like all those people who do want to get on the land to have access to it. And so that's really my message in today's video, and I hope that it resonates with some of you, because I'm sure that there are young people out there who just cannot see any way that they could get onto the land. And I think farmers or landowners, they have the key. They have the key to right the wrongs, even if they can't do it. With a parcel of land here, they have that key to make it possible to save humanity effectively. So there you go. There's a thought for you at the beginning of this week. And I hope that you enjoy. If you've got any kind of sunshine, get out there and get that vitamin D, because it's so important for you and for the plants. Thank you for watching.